Thursday lunchtime, but not any old Thursday lunchtime. It's Spencer's birthday. 50 years young today. It's a big one for him. Happy birthday, Spencer. Many of you sending in your birthday wishes. Try and get one or two of them in before we go. 8:10:89. Simon alongside me this lunchtime. In 2020, Lyndon Arthur produced an upset by beating Anthony Yarde on a split decision. Yarde then gained revenge a year later, stopping Arthur in the fourth round. But now they'll do it again. We're 1 month away from Eubank Ben on the 26th of April at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And on that night, there is a bumper undercard, and it includes, you guessed it, Anthony Yarde versus Lyndon Arthur. And Anthony Yarde joins us live this lunchtime. Anthony, good afternoon to you. So the trilogy, is it going to settle this rivalry once and for all, sir?
100%. Good afternoon as well to everybody.
Good afternoon, mate.
I feel that this one, on paper, it's one apiece. So, yeah, I think the fans get to see the decider.
I mean, Anthony, the first one was behind closed doors. You lost that via split decision, but there were some weird decisions going on around that time with no crowd, no atmosphere. It's very difficult for a fighter to get themselves up for any sort of performance. You put in a lacklustre one on that night. You got revenge, but you done it in style. You done it in a very one-sided fight. So how do we get the trilogy again? How did that materialise?
It materialised because, there's history there. It is a domestic fight, and the other options that I wanted chose other routes. So I just took what was there for me.
I mean, you boxed for the world title a couple of times now, and you must be looking to get there again, and you must be looking to get there quite soon after this contest. I mean, we know what's going on with the Undisputed and Dmitry Bivol, Beterbiev, them two having those two brilliant fights. We don't know what's going to happen with the titles. Do we know what's going to happen with the titles? Are any of them going to become vacant? And have you got your eye on any of them?
I've got my eye on every world title there is. I always have. I just feel like the more experience I've got, the better my chances. So again, everyone knows I've had my opportunities. I've got better each time, even against better opposition. And I've just got that tunnel vision.
I think, Simon, is it fair to say, incidentally, before Simon comes in, answer me this, Anthony. Why were the two fights against Lyndon Arthur so different?
Again, I'm going to have my opinion. Everyone else is going to have their opinion. The first fight, as Spencer said, happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate.
As Spencer said, it was behind closed doors for a reason. It was during the pandemic, which in that pandemic, I lost 4 family members. One of them being my dad, my grandma, my granddad. And I wasn't in the right headspace. But at the time, I've always been a person that I'm obsessed with progressing in life. And, they would have wanted me to still fight. And I've got an opportunity, my life could have went the other way, so I've got to be professional. No one cares about your personal life, but I learned it just don't work like that because even in the ring, I was confused. There was rounds where I felt emotional. I wasn't really focused on what was going on. That's why the second fight, I was quite upset because I don't think he's on my level, and I was upset about the aftermath. People saying, oh, you lost and, he jabbed your face off, and I was like, all right, cool. I was like, okay. Genuinely, no one cares about, you trying to be professional to put on entertaining fights. People just care about the result. So again, I learned from that as well. If my head's not right, I'm not going to get in the ring. Yeah, that's it. But I'm not to mind the full round.
Sure. Yeah. And that's the reason that we're so different. Simon, I think you want to.
No, I like Anthony. He knows I've spoken to him directly. I think the true reflection of the Yarde Lyndon Arthur rivalry was in the second fight. I think that's where it really is. I think the first fight wasn't a reflection of Anthony Yarde's real potential and real performance levels. I think the second fight was because he was like a whirlwind. He went in there and blasted him out. Now, we've spoken, Anthony, we spoke to you a while ago about the Boazzi situation. That's now become a situation that has a different permutation now because obviously Josh has lost to Callum Smith. I mean, what is the direction of travel? And you think you're going to beat Lyndon Arthur. I think you're probably right. Lyndon's obviously done better things since he lost to you and gone and won an IBO title and been very game and lost fights as well against Bivol. But where do you go now, you and Tundi? You know, Callum Smith a fight you'd like to take, although Callum might not want that because he might have designs for bigger things because he's just beaten Josh Boazzi and put himself in a better position than perhaps you are right now. Where are you going, mate?
To be honest with you, I'm going to Tottenham Stadium on the 26th of April. But Lyndon Arthur. That's just the way my mechanisms work. I'm very focused on the task in hand. I'm a person, if I've got a basket full of shopping, you know, I'm going to have one basket. I'm not going to have no basket and try and carry 10 things because I'm due to drop one. So my only focus, good analogy.
I love it.
My only focus is literally the 26th of April. It's a big occasion. It's in the stadium. My first outdoor fight, you know, stadium fight, other than AT&T Stadium, but that was closed. And I just got to stay focused. You know, it's boxing. As we know, we heard
but Anthony, that's wonderful, right? And I understand why you don't want to look past that, right? But I don't think, with due respect to you, and I'll be blunt with you, anyone was screaming out for you to fight Lyndon Arthur again because it was compelling, the last outcome. People were wanting you to fight somebody that they considered to be a real contender, which was initially Josh, potentially now Callum Smith. When that's put to you, what's your reaction to that?
But when it's put to me before this fight?
Yeah, because I'm not motivated to see you fight Lyndon Arthur. I think you did him in convincing style, and you've manufactured a rivalry that doesn't really exist. And we've now got a third version of a fight that we've already seen.
I think I believe that this is all about showcasing his skills on a Riyadh season card, and that's where you get the opportunity because of the light heavyweights and what's going on there right now. And Callum Smith just having that good victory, that is a fight that could be materialised because you know if Turkey wants to make these fights and he's looking at making the best versus the best, they happen. That's the world that we live in right now, and I think that that's where Anthony Yarde says, I think that he goes in there, puts on a performance, gets the job done, and if he does it in good style, we see him in a big fight.
Okay.
I see it as this. The way I see it is we tried to get the Joshua Boazzi fight and we tried to get the Callum Smith fight. They chose to fight each other. Callum Smith said in public he's retiring, and then he fought Joshua Boazzi. Joshua Boazzi took 2 other fights before he fought me. He said he was going to fight me after Hutchison. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, nobody knew this fight was going to happen. He's fighting Smith. So no one can say that these fights haven't happened because of me. I've shown my character, and I'm getting annoyed by people doubting my character. I fought Beterbiev when he was undefeated, all knockouts. No one questioned my character in terms of who I'm willing to fight. I went to Russia to fight Kovalev. These guys are more dangerous than Joshua Boazzi. So my character is, if there's an opportunity and there's a big fight, I'm going for it. Joshua Boazzi, to me, yes, it's a great fight. And not only that as well, in my opinion, it's a less risk fight and a massive fight in Britain. So, of course, I wanted that fight. And we spoke personally, tried to make that fight. Our teams, you know, people started talking and trying to make things happen. He went another route. So, I don't want to talk about Joshua Boazzi right now. When the fight, after I've beat Lyndon Arthur, then, yeah, we can, you know, stir up the pot again. But, again, I'm getting frustrated because I feel like his name being so mentioned, it's always linked to my name.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to fight me, get out of it. Get out of it.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Anthony, you're in the supermarket. You want to keep all your shopping in that one basket. I totally get it, mate. There you go. Like that. Anthony Yarde, brilliant. Thanks so much for joining us this lunchtime.
Thank you,
mate.
What a top lad he is. I kind of know where you're going, Simon. Yeah, it's something you've seen already, you don't want to see
but
again.
I also know the other side of the conversation, and I don't want to rile him up in the conversation, but there's a monetary side of things. But Boazzi wanted that fight. He wanted Anthony Yarde. Don't be under any illusions that he didn't. And Callum Smith didn't say he was going to retire because Callum Smith sat down with me 9 months ago and said specifically what he wanted to do. He wanted only big fights, and if it was big fights that were going to stimulate him, he wanted to be a 2-weight world champion. So it's not as Anthony just painted it. Tundi sat in a studio with you and I, and we discussed the Boazzi situation. It was about money as much as about anything else, and about his dispute with Frank Warren and everything that was going on there.
I've got news for you. I think Anthony's still listening to you.
Good. Let him listen.
Still dipping in. Anyway.
I'm still listening. Because this is what happens. I leave, and then people try to say things that are not true.
Brilliant.
And that is not true.
Good. So what did I say that wasn't true there then?
It's not been about money. And this is what I'm trying to say. When me and Frank Warren was having a dispute, speak to Frank Warren now.
No, you sorted it out. I know, absolutely.
Exactly. So it's just things that are said when there's heated. moments involved. Anyway, I'll let you guys go.
For the second time, Anthony Yarde, thank you so much for
Brilliant.
being with us.
Well done.
Brilliant stuff.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.